NCRP Productions presents Fantasy Flight's Star Wars RPG, Season 2, Episode 20.
Hello, and welcome to the table in a galaxy far, far away. I'll be your DM tonight, DM David. Today we'll be playing Star Wars by Fantasy Flight Games. There are 3 complete books: Age of Rebellion, Edge of Empire, and Force and Destiny is one complete game. Let's meet our players, starting to the left.
Hello everybody, this is Josh. I am playing Locke, the Iridonian Zabrak bounty hunter gadgeteer.
Hey, it's Barry. I am running Grist, the Squib Shadow Sentinel.
Hi, it's Ty. I'll be playing Victus, the Mystic Makashi Duelist.
I'm Jessica, and I'll be playing Jimothy, the Jawa Grenade Goblin.
That's a new profession change.
The Demolitionist went away recently.
Yeah. She had to upgrade. She finally advanced her class. Like we start all of our sessions, let's please roll that D12 white-sided force dice and tell me, what is the force looking like today?
As per usual, Locke is bringing home one light side.
Ah, we've changed my side. I bring home a light as well.
One dark.
Oh, thank goodness.
Uh-oh.
And one dark for me.
Wow.
The force is in balance.
Perfect balance.
As all things should be.
Yes. As Darth Vader is sitting on a throne like Thanos, holding his lightsaber perfectly balanced over his finger. As all things should be. So, when we last left our crew, the event of the Great Hunt began to undertake. Locke and his compatriots were called to the planet Luxroll. There you learned about this historic traditional event, the Great Hunt.
Oh, the Great Hunt.
Something that the Bounty Hunter Guild prizes greatly. All syndicates are in attendance. There is a mass calling of individuals, 32 contestants in all. However, there are more individuals as each bounty hunter of those 32 has their own team, up to 5 individuals. The contest consists of 4 rounds, finding some of the most elusive, dangerous, and hard to find individuals. As you guys were just getting your data spike and heading out, you saw that competition rules had already changed and had already been indicated, that the code of no longer killing your fellow bounty hunter was out the window, as some members are already being dismembered.
But only in specific instances.
Mm-hmm. Such as hunting the same target, which can result in the murder of another bounty hunter, you claiming all of their points. So, as we zoom in on our crew, you guys, in case, to start, you're at the Great Bounty Hunter Hall. You're essentially probably in the hallway. There stand some, great bone statues, stuffed statues, some plants, this kind of torchlight fire along with the occasional floor lights. Is there anything you want to do, anything you wanted to identify, people you wanted to talk to? What are you guys up to?
Well, one of the things I was looking at is, in my notes here, I have target is in a big, long, open blank space. So did we not get our target?
We haven't looked at it yet.
We were waiting, yeah.
Because you just saw the man get stabbed through the chest, and all of you guys kind of made this decision that, hey, maybe we should open this in the privacy of our own ship.
Okay. And the end of my notes here says body cams and camera droid to accompany us. So
yes.
Are these things that we have to get now, or?
These were delivered to your ships, as you were advised by the droid when he handed you your data spike, indicating that, hey, you are to be wearing these cameras so that people and viewers may watch the blood sports that are participating in. They want to see how a bounty hunter hunts, what life and death situations you can get into, and the camera droid is there to follow and catch, those better wide-angle shots, really get that drama going.
So, Locke, and I guess I'm bringing it up to the whole group, this seems to me to be something where we could become really bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, immediate things that come to mind is if Jimothy and I were able to, say, piggyback on signals from some of these guys, we could find out who they're hunting, hunt them down, and kill them and get the bounty. What way are we going? I mean, you are the leader. for this specific thing.
Fair enough, Grist. And as I said before, that was I was sharing with you my knowledge of the Bounty Hunter's Code. However, it seems that certain rules and regulations are now being relaxed. One of which may have to do with obviously interfering with other people's hunts.
Yeah, well, it suggests to me that we need to keep our eyes on our backs as well as our fronts.
I would be willing to say, while not the most honorable approach, it's definitely an attractive option if one were to be able to sort of glean a competitive advantage from anyone else involved in this hunt.
Well, I mean, if you want to win,
That's the objective. That is
winning
the
at
objective.
all costs.
Yes, that's the objective.
That's what we're doing?
This is the priority at this point, Grist.
So my ears go down.
What do you mean at all costs?
Well, I mean, again, I think there's a way that we could win this whole thing by just basically being sneaky, devious, and evil.
Sneaky and devious.
And evil.
Why is that evil exactly?
Well, because we'd be killing people.
I mean, we don't necessarily want to kill anyone, but that's part of the nature of the competition. If that were to
Killing the other bounty
Occur.
hunters is part of the competition.
No, well, not exactly, but as you heard from the rules, if you do, you receive their amount of points. So obviously that's not necessarily a bad thing from a competitive standpoint. If we happen to be in competition for the same target, which I assume, as we are successful throughout this hunt, we will eventually be in competition for the same target. At that point, if that's what it comes to, that's what it comes to. But I assure you, I will do what I can to avoid being forced to actually take another bounty hunter's life unless there's no other.
Okay, so that just kind of brings up another thing. So the person who's putting it on is the Mandalorian we saw, right?
Axe Woves?
You're talking about
Axe Woes.
Yes.
It is.
So that's who's putting it on. So
Well, his clan, the Drexel clan Drexel is putting it on. Who is he the one who actually called the hunt? Because in the past,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
people have called the hunt that wasn't necessarily leading the hunt. So
Yes.
yeah. So is that common knowledge that clan Drexel and particularly Axe was called the Great Hunt? You may have told me last time, and I.
Yep, not a problem. So, Axe Woves of Clan Drexel is the current leader of the Bounty Hunters Guild. The guild, called
Okay.
for the Great Hunt.
Cool.
It is the Great Hunt historically has been a
So the
Mandalorian
guild is
tradition,
called for the Great Hunt.
but it has over the
happens.
course of history expanded to include bounty hunters in general.
okay, let me take this from a completely different side, which would be the monetary side. So if he's the leader of all the bounty hunters, and he's called this thing, so he's not going to actually compete, right? He's not competing against us.
No.
Okay, so if he's called this thing and he's not competing against us in this battle, but he does compete against us in the guild, wouldn't it make sense to have all 32 bounty hunters going after the exact same target and not being told that they're all going after this exact same target, so they would all wipe each other out? There would be less bounty hunters and he would make more money?
That might make sense, but it would also be very quick and not very entertaining. And think about it. These Mandalore clans, they believe in strength. They believe in finding the strongest bounty hunter among us. This is not about money. This is not about entertaining the lazy masses. This is about finding out who is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. And that is why we are to win this.
But didn't the Empire kind of respect the greatest intelligence as well as the strongest person?
It doesn't matter anymore what they care about.
Well, no, but I get that. But what I'm saying is, isn't intelligence strength? I kind of think it is. But isn't intelligence strength?
Results are strength. Results
Yeah,
represent strength.
but intelligence could
may
get
be used
results.
to achieve results.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we went about this intelligently, we would just wipe out all the other ones, collect all their points, and come back with 31 bounties that we didn't have to go pick up, right? I mean, not that I'm saying do that. I'm just saying...
We don't get our next bounty until we finish this one.
Correct.
So how are we supposed to know who else shares the same bounty with us?
That would go back to the thing I said where potentially Jimothy and I hack things.
Well, if you can do such a thing, then that we can...
I don't
we
know that I can. I'm asking if we should, because it
I'm
seems
not
like
telling
it's
you not
wrong. What?
I mean,
It wouldn't be bad to get information just so we can even avoid some of the more lethal competitors.
I think knowing who are
You guys are going to
direct
slowly
rivals
watch Grist's ears go down. He kind of is carrying his shoulders lower because what he's trying to do is get you guys to tell him, just so you know, that this is not right. We shouldn't be doing evil stuff. We're not going to do that. And
we're
you
not
guys
gonna
are
say
like,
that.
no, that actually sounds pretty good.
No, it's not.
This is
But
survival.
Locke doesn't see it as evil.
I know
Locke
you
sees
don't.
it as competitive.
I know you do. Yes. No, I'm saying. So that's what you
Like,
can
that's
see
what
about Grist,
Locke is confused
he is
by.
slowly, like, collapsing in on himself. Okay, so are you saying we should try and do that?
I think we should secure whatever competitive advantage we have access to.
And
I think we're
kill
putting.
other people?
I think we're putting the pod ahead of the speeder. I think we should go back to the
Thanks,
ship.
Victus.
And
I'm not sure
discuss
I
either-
understand your references there.
I am
Check out
assuming that we're
Tatooine
walking
channel
back to the
sometime.
ship while we're talking. Is that the case? Or can
Yes,
we do
we're all
other-
walking to the ship, as far
so,
as I know.
So yeah, you were walking. You're just having this talk. You know, the speeder's
Thank you,
flying.
Victus, for the sensible words. We should discuss this back at the ship
Agreed.
regardless.
You guys were heading back to the ship. You had this conversation. You can see, of course, the planet is still very active when you were flying. Even with this night approaching, the city is still vibrant. Not as vibrant as like a major colonized or industrial planet. This is think of more like distant outlander kind of civilization. There's a few large bulbs of like civilized light and torches with periodic spaces of darkness that you have seen when you were coming and were plant life and fauna and stuff like that. But you make it unperturbed back to your ship. What's the plan?
All right. So once we're safe inside the shuttle, I'm going to approach Locke and let's say look at our target here and see what they say.
Yeah,
I got questions.
Chris, bring that data spike over here.
Okay.
So as you
Funk. Plug it in.
Yep, plug it in. Pops up out of your screen a little small hologram that looks like, think of like a criminal record sheet. You see the face of what looks like originally a young, sleek-haired, black-haired individual, pointed hook nose with glasses. You see next to it, though, what looks to be an older picture, as there's that nice, like, white streak down the center. A little bit more like crow's feet and wrinkles, but still that sharp hook nose. And the biggest things that are very identifying are the almost fiery, like the life behind the eyes of inquisitive nature, these vibrant blue eyes.
Is he a human?
He is a human.
Just to
Yep, excellent. The name appearing is Dr. Genos Hilric. Attached is a list of criminal history, if anyone would like to peruse it. Also,
Yes.
Yeah, Locke, would you read it to us? Well, I mean, I don't want to plug the screen
Here's your
up.
bedtime story, Grist.
as you see, it begins to like.
Genus Helric was once responsible for the most heinous crimes across the galaxy.
Yep, as it begins to like scroll, at first you're like, okay, it's a few things, and then it's like scroll.
Could
Essentially,
we hear the highlights, Locke?
The quick summary is Dr. Genos Hilric started as, of course, a beautician. He started as a plastic surgeon.
Oh, man.
Oh dear.
This is not
And
starting well.
was first introduced into the criminal world through malfeasance practices of altering his people without their consent. Most of his forms contain some type of aesthetic, animalistic, or alternative alien genome makeup.
I'm already
essentially-
getting ill.
What he was doing is turning essentially humans who wanted like facelifts into Nautilins, into Rhodians, giving them
Disgusting.
terrible things such as this. However, after losing his license, of course, he entered the dark underworld, like most people do, and began his new life growing and selling organs.
Ugh. It's a pity hating your own species so bad you'd be willing to go through this to change.
He developed and became quite knowledgeable in gene splicing, where he earned the nickname Dr. Gene. Consisted of altering genetically individuals, working with numerous small-time gangs, essentially always chasing a bigger group for more support. He is single-handedly one of the few people that caused a very large problem on Nar Shaddaa, where he genetically engineered quite a few people to have extra lungs to increase a new type of spice intake.
Oh, this guy is
Oh,
something
this
else.
guy's a piece of work.
When finally arrested, he mentioned that his ultimate goal is to pursue the evolution of all species as nature is too slow and it needs an artistic art to truly bring about the perfect unified species for galactic peace.
Jimothy shakes his head and pursues wrong art. Explosion is best and only art form worth pursuing.
This file includes that Dr. Gene, or Dr. Genos Hilaric, was taken to the prison planet Belsavis, where he is currently serving 500 consecutive life sentences.
Can you
So why
spell
can't we
the
get to him?
planet?
Belsavis, Belsavis.
He's currently in prison?
He is currently in prison, and this is where your bounty comes up.
This is going to get ugly.
You are to retrieve, unharmed, Dr. Genos and to return him to a designated location for his release.
What's the location?
Reverse prison break.
Revealed upon once the acquisition of Genos and contacted of the data provided in
Wait,
the
did you
data
read
sheet.
that right? We're
I
supposed to
understand
release
we're
him?
We're flying blind. No, we're...
You're supposed to release him into the public? That's what our bounty is?
You are
Did you
to-
read that right?
You are to help a prison break of a criminal individual.
That's a bounty? My ears are flat.
That's what it says. I mean, does it say why previous bounty hunters have been unsuccessful with getting him discharged from this particular prison planet?
Belsavis is this would be
Underworld?
This would either be Underworld because of your bounty hunter, or this would be Outer Rim
Ugh.
because the planet is an Outer Rim
no.
planet.
And is this something I can roll on?
Anyone can roll if you have those.
Okay.
If you are a bounty hunter and you are using your knowledge for Underworld, that would give you a benefit. If you have any interactions with the New Galactic or the Galactic Union, you would know something as well in how to GU.
I kind of don't understand this one. So we're not bringing him back here, dead or alive. We're just letting him go?
No, we're taking him and delivering him to someone else who wants him.
Right. I mean, it didn't say
Smashing
where
grab.
we were delivering him.
That's
I-
would be once you just have to call once you have access to him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And then, I mean, right now they've chosen not to kill him. What if we're bringing him
We
to
have
some
no
place
idea.
where they're planning
I mean,
to kill him?
Then
Right.
good riddance. That's all I know is what the form says.
He's not a person. He's an acquisition, Grist.
Jimothy, you're okay with this?
If give opportunity to blow up, I mean...
If you would like to know his previous acquisition cost, because you're
Yeah.
curious about this, this thing is a fairly detailed because it is a bounty hunter. You get to see what Locke gets to look at every day. It's not just an arrest report because not all targets, as Locke has identified, need to go to prison. Some people want people
Right.
found. They want someone returned. They want certain information. That's a bounty hunter.
Right, but in general, like, your reputation is going to increase more if you're able to bring them in alive regardless. So we often get jobs to bring people in.
Yeah, no. The bringing it alive is not
So-
bothering me.
Yeah. So this person was originally worth 5 billion credits
Until he was caught.
until he was caught.
You can
Do we have any idea what the
Right.
prison break is going to pay us?
You can buy hundreds of starter stores with that. What?
Yeah.
What?
Who is asking for this type of individual?
Revenge.
And
Someone
we
wants
were
revenge
told
on
we were
this
going to get
guy.
paid for these things.
No.
You are to receive. Sorry, I apologize. Locke, let you go. I apologize.
Yeah,
Go.
we were told that in lieu of payment, there would be other benefits. One of which is, of course, our rise in status amongst the Bounty Hunter Guild. That is the primary benefit.
I'm watching Locke orate and stand proud and throw his hands out and his chest up and
Chris,
his nose
you have
forward.
an opportunity here to, you could say, ride my coattails to the top. I don't see why that wouldn't interest you.
Yeah, but we got to take the ship. We're not getting money for the gas.
It'll be
Fuel.
worth it. I assure you, it will be worth it.
Okay, all right. And I like the fact that we're not simply killing him. I just don't like the fact that we might be taking him somewhere to be, tortured or worse.
Try to separate your morality from what you are able to perceive in this specific hunt.
What if he's
There are things
innocent?
we do not know. We do not. That is not our intention.
Okay.
What if this man
We
has
are
been in
not
prison
Missouri.
for 500 life consecutive sentences? Is innocent?
Okay. All right.
Separate that.
Just
part of
fly the
yourself
ship.
from
I
this
get it.
mission.
Just fly the ship. I
Just
get it.
fly the ship.
All right.
Do what you
Coordinates?
There are coordinates
You want me to
provided.
take us to Belsarius prison?
The Balsavis? Yes.
Belsavis? I'm so flustered I can't even remember the damn name. Yanari! Set course for Belsavis!
As, your data spike, you can send him up the data. Boom, he begins to punch in the coordinates.
I better go up and watch him.
Do you guys have any plans, anything you'd like to do during this long trip?
Yeah.
On my way up, I do want to see if I remember anything about
Yes.
the prison.
Understand. So roll your roll. This is a 3 difficulty with, if you do not have any Galactic Union or Underworld, this is a 1 extra black.
God damn.
If you do have a bounty hunter background or have those connections,
If we have time to rest off this strain before we get there.
there will be plenty of time.
So I have 3 failures, and 3 net failures, 3 advantages.
I have 2 threats and an advantage.
You remember it's a
Well, you
prison
can't have
planet.
2 threats and an advantage.
You mean a success?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
okay.
sorry, a
2
success
threats
and
and
2
success.
threats. Yeah,
That's better than mine.
thank you.
Wait, so 2 threats and a success?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So essentially,
Nomenclatures.
what this I would imagine look like is Grist. You're like, I've heard about this place. It's a place like, think of like Alcatraz.
Right, it's a
Yeah.
prison, but I don't know what
It's
sea
an
it's in.
entire planet that's a prison.
Oh man.
And essentially, what that kicks off for you, Locke, is you're like, oh, this was the prison planet the Republic made and has been in for quite a while. The Empire took it over, and essentially the new Galactic Union has overseen it now. Essentially, what it is this is where extreme terrorists, violent criminal murderers, these are where people who are essentially considered planetary problems have to end up getting taken away. There is no
And
good
do they
behavior
rehabilitate
release.
people in this prison? I'm saying over the loudspeaker.
Locke, no one gets rehabilitated. You serve out your sentence and you die there.
It's a meat locker. So, before we actually fly there, because we said we went back to the ship and we
Yeah,
fly.
yeah,
I
sure.
did want to drop off something for the. I want to drop off a shopping list for the Black Sun faction representative. I'm not going to wait for him to follow up on any of this stuff before we go after our first target, but I do want to sort of drop it off with him with some line of credits to actually acquire it for me.
All right, so what are you looking for?
So the first thing I'm looking for is a
I
pair
made contact. Go ahead, Locke.
of rocket boots. These are expensive, but they're sort of 2,500 credits. But I got a good little stash going, so I think I can spring for a pair of rocket boots. The thing about these is they're not restricted or illegal, which is, I guess, a rarity amongst my shopping list. So,
I'm going to listen in, but I'm not going to let him know I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm curious what Locke's going to.
What you're trying to buy, so you want
So
rocket
right, the other thing that's not illegal is some extra stim packs, which we all received a stim pack from the smuggling compartment. But I want to go ahead and put in an order for 3 more stim packs, just to go ahead and throw that in there.
boots. Okay.
Now here's where it gets juicy. These aren't illegal. Now the micro rockets on their own, but the thing that projects the micro rocket sort of is.
How many micro rockets are you looking for?
I'm looking for like 3 each of anti-armor, explosive, and ion. I don't know if that'll work out, but that's about 1,650 credits. So I'm going to give him a tip. I'm going to increase it by like 25, 30% or something to try to
And so you need a
secure
micro
this.
rocket, so you need 3 of anti-armor and ion, but you also need a launcher.
But I also need a micro rocket wrist mount. And see, that's what I'm really, and that's restricted. Now, and the final item on my shopping list is a light flame projector. Now he doesn't have to get all of this stuff. I mean, it's about 4,000 credits worth of stuff, give or take. So like I'll give him 5,000. I'll give him 5,500 credits just to kind of, grease the wheels of commerce.
This is the people we work for.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. We need this as quickly as possible. It's going to take extra money to get it sooner. We need it waiting for us when we get our next bounty, so we can stop by, assuming we're somewhere in the neighborhood.
Okay. So you're going to pay
have
them
it delivered.
5,500 credits to cover the cost and a little bit of delivery fee.
Yeah, that's 1,600 credit tip on a 3,900 credit order.
Do remember, if you'd like to, you do have, you've earned, because of your duty to your group by completing missions for them, you have earned reputation or duty tiers.
Oh,
So
well,
you
if I
could-
could spend
Stim packs aren't gonna cost
reputation,
anything.
you could,
if I
you
could spend reputation instead of credits, I'll gladly do that.
yeah, you're essentially saying like, hey, I'm calling in a favor.
And if I could flip over a light side point to make it more likely that these supplies would be secured in a relatively short
Is
fashion.
that what you flip them for?
You can flip it. Viewers, that the light and dark side are used as a way to introduce a narrative fact. Now, again, don't
maybe they're
abuse it
already-
and be like, and then we got our Star Destroyer.
No, maybe this stuff is already on the station. I mean, this is
You're-
like
you're
bounty
ju-
hunter.
You're using the mechanic of duty to be like, hey, I want to call in a favor, and you're saying, hey, light side, that maybe that stuff's a little bit easier, and will definitely maybe get my whole shopping list.
Like, I mean,
And
if
think
I were a
that's
guy
totally legit.
selling a flame projector, I would show up at this meet because I
Oh,
know I
yeah.
could get top dollar.
Yeah, the kiosks in the
flame
mall
protector
stalls, they should be like lining every inch from where the
Get
where
your
the-
rocket boots, everybody!
Right,
Get your rocket boots right here.
What I imagine, like how this looks in my mind, is like as you're like before the ship's getting like fueled up and you're doing double checks with Grist and Victus and Jimothy are like checking their lightsabers or their grenades and like hey getting mentally ready. You're making a phone call or like a an intergalactic call to the Black Suns, and essentially you're just like, hey,
Yeah, I'm representing you guys. This is
need-
what I need to do a good job here.
Yeah,
This is
and
what I'm gonna need to
essentially-
be successful.
where I'm seeing this is probably one of the people. They're like, Locke, you need this? Not a problem. I saw you on the Great Hunt get picked. I'm
yeah.
watching channel right now. We're rooting for you, man.
right.
We'll get this sent out. You get that list. Black Sun supports.
Yes.
I envision the planet kind of like has everyone seen Mist from years ago?
Yes.
All right. So they did a parody one called Pissed. And what it is they have turned Mist Island into a theme park.
Oh God.
Some big corporation comes in and builds on it, and so when you see the picture, there's all these like rides and different stalls and stuff. That's what I imagine. Every step from where we land the ship to where we went into the hall is just lined with people selling crap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is the Bounty Hunter Guild member does have this major part of the planet, but the other part is there's arms dealer, droids maker, ship designers. This is a hey man, have you ever been to Vegas during the weapon arms dealer sales, which is a very legal thing you can go to and be like, I want to buy a tank. And it's my right as a person to buy a tank, and this is the place I can buy it at with my Stinger missiles. It's the same thing. People are like, dude, we are excited. Bounty hunters are here. There's huge syndicates. Someone has daddy's like black debit card. Yeah, and essentially you just called home and were like, I need help, and they're like, we got you, man. NASCAR. We can't wait to rev up your car and get this going. So yeah, I love it. So by the completion of this mission, your shopping list will be ready if you survive and can make it back.
If we survive, yeah.
Yeah.
Key important factor. Been putting in some time with that Zerka stun baton there, Victus. Just
What?
the stun baton.
I look over and it's like covered in cobwebs. Yeah. Plenty of it.
Okay, yeah, because we'll need that. Can't bring this guy in 2 pieces. I mean, anything between us and him, fair game.
I love the amount of lethal weaponry you bought, and you're like, because every previous
we're already
mission
covered.
you're like, we
Yeah.
got to be non-lethal. Now you're like, I want the Eviscerator 900.
Yeah, no, this isn't for the actual mark. This is for the people that stand in between us and the mark. The actual mark, we already got the non-lethal weaponry covered. We went all out on that for the last mission, which we turned out to have the person who paid us to be non-lethal actually kill the guy.
Are you in some way thinking that this Genos guy is a Rancor? I mean, I'm pretty
No.
sure the 4 of us can batter him into submission pretty damn
This is
easy.
a
I can
max
lift it.
security prison.
Even if he's a Rancor, you can lift him. Yeah, I got it. I'm just saying. All
I
right,
don't
so
know what we'll go up
right,
against,
so-
Chris. We need to be prepared for anything.
just so I'm certain I'm understanding this right, we are breaking into a prison. There's nothing wrong with the prison. Like, the prison isn't doing bad things, right?
I can't speak for the prisons.
You
level
didn't
of
I mean, it's like,
successfully need, but it is a place where people don't rehabilitate. So however Grist would assert that, like, hey, this person goes to jail, and you're like, and yeah. Yep, and then they never see the light of day.
But, I mean, like, the prison's run by...
Galactic Union.
I'll be up in the ship flying, or I'll be up in the cockpit flying. Are we ready to leave? Over the loudspeaker.
Yeah, you guys are like, taking the hyper lanes.
Okay.
Is there anything you guys want to prep? Anything that
Lightspeed.
you would like to prep or know about an area? How would your characters prepare for a mission?
Locke wants to do research on the prison, and I mean, we need to find out like who the warden is, or if there's multiple, and what is there any leverage that we have over them? Is there any common report of breakouts or break-ins? Like, is it hey, nobody's broken out of this prison in 10 years, or is it like, yeah, people get out of here all the time and nobody really?
I'd like to do some research on their HoloNet.
Ooh, okay.
Grist would like to take apart the camera droid because I
No,
don't
Grist,
trust what's
don't
going
touch
on.
that. No, we need to get credit for all this.
I'm not going to break it. I just want to make sure that we're not being tracked.
So Locke wants to
Of course we're being tracked.
use what resources and network he has to learn about the planet and the prison system and people in the system.
Like Chris said, like Locke, obviously has no idea how we're supposed to get this guy out of the prison, and Locke does kind of feel a level of discomfort over, assaulting a prison to break somebody out that's done terrible things. But he doesn't say that.
Yeah, I noticed that because if you'd said that, Grist would be a whole lot more comfortable with this thing.
Jimothy, you were looking for what? I apologize.
Oh, the HoloNet. I want to know as much about it as I can.
HoloNet about the prison as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Grist, you want to fiddle with the camera. What about you?
Yeah, behind closed doors because apparently
Gotcha.
Locke says knock that off.
Yep.
So I'm like, nope, no problem.
I
Can
gotcha.
we
Victus,
this camera
or
droid, come
do
with me.
you want to prepare anything?
No, there's nothing. If anything, I would just meditate.
Okay.
I would retire to my realm.
In my spare time between researching, I'm also going to take my long white hair and braid it in the ceremonial braids of the hunt. Whenever we would head hunt from our clan back on Iridonia, we would braid our hair in a sort of a battle style. So I'm going to kind of
Okay.
similar to like
Like a
cornrow style.
crown.
Yeah, because my hair is not full; it just grows in between my horns
Yeah.
and just kind of gets swept back. And normally, I just sort of keep it back out of the way. But at this point, it's actually getting sort of braided and prepared for.
And I don't remember a single time in the game where you actually got a cut, so it's probably
No,
pretty
yeah.
shaggy right now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
I'm
start
growing
off
it
with
out.
Locke. You were beginning your investigation. So what resource are you going to use? Like Underworld?
Yeah.
So give me an Underworld check. This will be a 3 difficulty. Is there anybody you want to call? Anything that you can think of that would earn you
Could
some
anybody
blues?
assist me in some way? Like, does anybody have any contacts that might know something about this planet?
I have my history. That's really it, and it's been bit by bit filling in. So I might be able to help when it comes to Underworld.
Locke, what book was that staff that you wanted me to use in? Because it's not in the gearing gadgets.
It's in my book right here.
You can assist each other. If you want to ask Jimothy, Jimothy is also doing a similar search on the HoloNet, so you guys can put your connections, contacts, and knowledge together. You do know, Locke, you do have a background with bounty hunters. You can call, friends or people you know.
Yeah, as long as they're not in the hunt.
You have the Black Suns to contact. To your knowledge, you believe
that's possible.
Neamrika is dead, but you haven't tried to call him.
We'll send
But who really wants to call Neam?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll send a communication to the Black Suns and just ask for whatever they got on Belsavis.
Yep.
And if there's anybody loyal to the Black Suns on the inside, that's what we're after. Is there a guard, or do we have anything on anybody there? Do we have any ins?
Do you want to work with Jimothy, or are you doing your own search?
Me? Yes. Yeah. No. We're all coordinating. I kind of picture us. We're sitting at a table. We're flying. We all discussing this, and then throwing.
I'm not messing with the camera droid in front of Locke.
No.
No, understandable. So anyone who
You got to
you're kind
record
of
a
talking,
glorious
and
exploits.
bouncing ideas off of, I would accept that you're having this big discussion.
But at the point when you mentioned that, so Locke here, so I'm sort of concerned if we talk to the Black Sun, who we work for. What if there's not people that are loyal to them on the inside, but that there's people that they want out that are on the inside?
We have one priority. One priority is all we're here for.
But we're presently tied to the Black Sun.
That doesn't matter. What we're able to accomplish here will far eclipse anything that we could do by rescuing a Black Sun here or pleasing somebody in a higher up position. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
We need to stay focused.
Can I be here when you make the call? I'm just grinning at this point.
Yeah. All
I
right.
suppose.
So
I won't say much.
Much?
Nothing. I meant nothing.
So you guys can share stats if you're making that check. So it would be an Underworld Connections. You can roll for that. You can add a blue for you're essentially using the HoloNet as well with Jimothy, and a blue because you're using the Black Sun's connection you have to pass this 3 difficulty check.
It's pretty good.
Would computers have anything to do with this? Because I was gonna hackety hack kind of.
It could, yeah. If you would like to roll one first, and then we can see what carries over to locks.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll the computers or the other roll?
You would be rolling computers because you wanted to originally scour the HoloNet.
Yes.
So let's see before we do locks then. Apologize.
Okay, and no blue boost dice for that one?
Is there anything that you think that you could use to help you search or
Not really.
you might know? Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of threat there, but I got 1 success and 1 threat, actually.
Okay. So, you were looking up the Belsavis prison planet to see what you could know about it. You know it is in the Outer Rim territories. It is a primarily frozen with some deep forest areas with exposures to magmas and lava. This planet is broken up into 4 quadrants, and it houses a redacted number of individuals. They consist of individuals from across the galaxy and is currently being supported collectively by the Galactic Union to help house some what were historically, as they're kind of like talked about it, First Order remnant and Imperial traitorous individuals as lethal and high priority criminal elements.
Jimothy, when you're going through there, is there any chance that you could look and see, I guess it would be a history of incarceration. What I'm curious about is, as each new regime took over, did inmates get released and then others go in? Or have, like, somebody who's been there since, over the last 60 years, and they just didn't come out?
We'll check.
Part of this fine from what you got. Belsavis was originally made during the Old Republic, so before the High Republic era, as a black site prison planet. Only because of tragic events was it brought to the forefront of knowledge, and it did receive a bit of an upgrade. It's a little bit more humane, we'll go with that term. But essentially, individuals serve lifelong sentences here. There is no chance for rehabilitation and release back to the greater galaxy.
How are we going to get this guy out of here?
This is kind of a one-way crab pot.
Grist, in answer to question, no one checks out.
Yeah, no. So that wasn't exactly what I was thinking. So what I was curious about is this. If, say, for example, during one of the transfers of the regimes, if suddenly, like, 8 individuals got released, it'd be interesting to see what their connections were. And if you think about it, if it was Old Republic and then it was Empire and then it was, say, New Republic, just in that order kind of thing, people that were released with the Empire came in, why were they released? That's it. I mean, if nobody ever gets released, it means that basically
I understand
the prison stands alone.
But no one has been released from that planet once they've checked in, regardless of the time period that we're in, right?
How they have sold the idea is that people come here, they're rehabilitated, and they love it so much they choose to stay and help continue.
Well, okay, that sounds better.
Oh, Rati Grist. Well, sweet summer Tatooine child. The other thing I'd like to check out is their network. Is it connected to the greater Hollow network, or is it islanded?
It is an island one. What you've been picking up through your search of the HoloNet is you're essentially, people are like, hey, we know this because I know a person who knew a person who worked there. You're dealing with conspiracy theorists, you're dealing with, far-reached individuals of extremists who are like, there was a black site prison and this is why no one wants to talk about it, and the Republic isn't as clean as it should be, and you're like, hey, the general idea is this place was a prison. It has these areas, there's enough to make you believe it, enough also to be like, there's no way a place like this existed for so long in the galaxy, and someone hasn't done something about this more than they already had. So with this information, I'm assuming you've talked to Locke, Locke about it. So Locke, you make your roll, add that blue because you know a little bit more.
Add a third blue? Because I had Smuggler blue and
Bounty Hunter blue and
Bounty Hunter blue, yeah.
And then Jimothy blue. So perfect.
All right, come on, baby. So there's 3 of those. There's 1 of those, and that's going to get rid of that with that. So we're going to have 1 left of this and 2 of those. So 1 threat and 2 successes.
Okay. And so for you, we're looking for more individuals.
Yeah, we want to learn. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to learn what we can do. The other side thing that I'm kind of curious about, if anybody has any knowledge on, is if there's anyone with a vendetta or a grudge against this particular guy that's public, like a HUD or somebody, another faction or a crime family that may have been after this guy.
Ooh, excellent. So to start off with the prison, based on what Jimothy has shared with you, you contact a few bounty hunter people, informants, info chants, friends of friends, people and they tell you, they're like, yeah, man, I know a person who had to do a drop off there. It's an intense planet. Essentially, it's going to look like there's a strange, large structures built in there. Those are the gates. You will see them from space. It is broken into quadrants.
Oh boy.
It is incredibly environmentally unhospitable. You can, it does have breathable air. There's essentially large farm structures that they've taken care of, that the inmates kind of help maintain.
We know that.
This is what he's heard from a guy who says, I've been to that planet.
Yeah, and I will relay whatever I've learned.
Inmate work programs.
Yeah, intensive inmate work programs. Essentially, the inmates have their own hierarchy. You drop them off. You don't really get to go more into it, but you watch Galactic Union walk around in some heavy stuff that's meant more for military, less for citizen suppression. So they're like, hey man, the thing we know is in processing, I watched people get stabbed and gutted. So those were people who were disarmed. You just watched, severe dark people get handled in there. Best of luck getting in. Don't stay. It's terrible. Whatever you need to do, get done, get out. Your other question was, is there someone that who might help you get in?
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's the end result. But the question is, I'm wondering if there's any other grudges or public conflicts with this particular.
Oh, that
basically we get them out, or we're going to be chased.
Yeah. You do know, for one, like all places, corruption runs deep. So for the cost of some money or promises of favors, you could probably get to go see some prisoners. Maybe there are some individuals who could take you on one of those fun, what are called safari walks, where you get to see the real dangerous world as you follow in some type of all-terrain vehicle.
Oh, jeez.
You do know that, again, for your own record and rumors that you kind of heard about, the Pikes are very interested in this individual.
The Pikes.
Who are the Pikes?
The Pikes are one of the major syndicates. They are, per Star Wars lore, they are considered the great mafia family. They run many spice and different drug dealings. Essentially, they're what keeps the Hutts in check. No one really likes to mess with the Pikes. They're very ruthless. They're very hard.
Did you watch the Book of Boba Fett?
Only the first 2 episodes.
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Are they?
The people, the fish people that come to Tatooine to try to challenge Boba, those are the Pikes.
Okay.
Yep.
The people that wear the masks.
Yep.
Okay, I
They're
can look
also
them up
in Clone Wars. They
There.
deal with that a lot.
then. Is it Pykes?
Pykes. Yep.
So that means
The
that
Pikes have also been at the convention we did with the casino. They were there. They were one of the houses there. They were also just now at the Great Hunt. They were one of the people he named off.
Yep. They're one of the great syndicates.
Yep.
So that concerns me a little bit, because if it gets out, especially with this camera
they're
droid,
unusual
that
looking.
we've got him, do we get waylaid now by a syndicate while we're trying to turn in our bounty hunter stuff?
So it's a possibility, but
They they might be the ones asking for it.
How are the camera droids' feeds viewed? Are they live? Or are they like on a delay of some sort, like to get the signal across the galaxy, or do we not know?
You didn't ask, you wouldn't know by this point.
I'll do some research.
I mean, just like basic computers or electronics, maybe we could know like the fastest they could get there from such a device, but you know.
Well, we do have a Grist who is hoping to do some mechanics on this.
No, he already told me I can't do that.
Yeah, we're not.
But inside a locked room. Grist, what are you hoping to do here? How are you planning to work this machine?
Well, as it starts to calm down and like we start bedding down for the night or whatever it is that we do, I am going to drag the camera droid into my room.
You know you're on film right now.
You've essentially watched this.
I'll take him the opposite direction.
Think of like a small little like ball with like those the little droids you always see the little like pan helmets. It's just that floating as a head, kind of like as it's like watching you, and you're like, imagine like Big Brother, like it's just like, this is my house, this is my thing. So as soon as the Grist's like, come on in.
You're not supposed to look at or interact with the camera. Just be yourself.
Right. So I don't need to hear that because you're not there. Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll grab some kind of piece of clothing, wrap it around the droid, and drag him into my room.
All right. Yeah. You have a little because you have tools because you do have like a she's just like shock it and bring it.
My intention is not to damage it.
Yeah. You just
my intention is to open it up.
Yeah.
So hopefully find the off switch. And what there's a couple of questions I'd like to ask, so I don't know how you'd like to go about it.
Well, what are the questions, and we'll come up with an answer.
I would like to know, is this true live feed? Is it going, quote-unquote, across the galaxy as we speak? Or is it recorded and then being sent at certain times?
Right.
That's the first one. Second thing is, can I put in an interrupter? Now, I do not have robotics. I have cybernetics. I don't have robotics, so I'm good with you saying no. But that's the thing is, if I think I can do it, I want to put in a shunt so I can figure out when to turn it on, when to turn it off, when to maybe allow it to feed, but it's feeding not to the general memory, but to the some kind of a access
secondary.
Yeah.
Call that a man in the middle attack.
Yep. And then the other thing is I want to know exactly where it is drawing information. Is it just one single forward orb? Is the entirety of it sound listening? I mean,
how extensive?
How does it get its information? Yep.
Okay. Those are all mechanics checks. This is a simple camera droid. It's a 2. I am going to say 1 black because it is a personalized, a little bit of a modified droid. It definitely bears the markings of the Bounty Hunter Guild. So 2 purple, 1 black. So purple are those difficulty dice.
Okay. Well, I do have a success. Oh, wow. I have a success and advantage. 1 advantage.
Yeah, as stun it and begin working it apart. So for your first question, it was, is it a live feed or is it a recorded feed and then package delivery? It's a recorded feed and package delivery.
Okay.
Second,
you need me to roll for the next one? Or?
Nope. Second one was, you said, can you shunt it? And
yeah, can I create a site? Can I do it so that on my whim, somehow, maybe by remote or by a verbal comment, I can get it to not be saving that to whatever the full feed is.
You're saying, can you take kind of like a control and turn it off? I would say probably not by voice command, but you probably can make like a button command, like a little jury rigged. It's not going to be pretty, but you have many holsters and belts. You can just tap something and kind of essentially make a very brute force like on off thing.
Okay.
And then the final one is, how does this thing hear? This is
how does it receive? So is it just visual? Is it visual and sound? Is it visual, sound, and smell? I mean,
it is. Sadly, it's not that advanced.
No smell-o-vision.
No pheromone vision.
SimSense robots.
For certain species, they lose out on that experience. There's no 8040K.
Like Jawas.
Sorry, man. The fifth dimensional camera is just not working right now. No, this is essentially this is a very affordable model. It is, I think, just like a basic camera. It hears, sees. It has the ability to store quite a bit of information. It has a very high magnifying lens. Nothing that you would say is like, 32 times like auxiliary scope. But it's like, hey, can I see from like, fair distance, like across a football field, and still see the features of a person? But I'm not going to see that he has moles all over his face and his dimples, or like, it's not that high def.
So now that I've learned that, I want to make sure that this thing is not being tracked. Does it have which probably is going to require another roll, does it have some kind of a beacon that's letting someone, I don't care who, know where it is? And then I'm also going to see potentially what I can in the program. Again, it's what you choose. But I'd like to see in the programming if somebody else has the ability to take it over.
Okay. From a mechanics, you can see that it does have a check. This isn't a roll because you've already passed it. There is a beacon on it. It's essentially, should property get lost, we can figure out where it's at.
How does that get activated?
Essentially, you would know this. Again, you guys have been flying around the spaceways enough. There's essentially small little satellites you see that, just like we have, are going to bounce from one planet over to the next. There's always been some type of delay. That's why having the holograms that you always see in the movies, where it's like, hey, like in 5 cycles, we'll see you, Anakin. And it's kind of like hazy. It's because essentially you're receiving a long...
No, I'm sorry. What would make it activate its own beacon, or what?
Its beacon is active, so
all the time. So it's being it's transmitting its position.
It has to get within range.
It's essentially...
Right?
It's trying. It is always active, so they can follow it, just like a little air tag.
Okay, right.
Yeah, however, it just means sometimes there's blacked out areas.
Yeah,
right.
It just when there's a not satellite, it can't transmit the video.
Okay.
So it's going to store pretty much a big amount of package. Send that anytime you fly by satellites, even in hyperspace.
Yeah.
It's going to like bloop, like here you go. I found a passing, Wi-Fi. Drop off that package.
We went into cell phone range. And
can I tell how many days for ease it can hold in memory?
This thing can hold up to 1 month worth of data.
And can I tell, once it's held all that data, what happens on day 31, 3 seconds after? Does it erase all the preceding data?
That would be a software, not a mechanic. And that would be what? That would be a computer, not a mechanic.
Computer?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
That's going to be a 3 difficulty.
Damn it! I came up with 1 failure, 1 threat.
Okay. You can't tell how its system works. If you had to take a guess, it either just stops recording or it probably deletes from the first day up, like your phone does when it's like, hey, this is the first thing that's been deleted. It's
deletes the oldest thing.
Yeah. At least the oldest. So that would be your guess.
So I will clean it up, brush it off, put in my shunt, and send it back out into the kitchen because it's not sleeping with me.
I imagine as soon as you finish, like, wow. As it takes off.
Go find Locke.
Quit giving it commands. Y'all don't have that kind of relationship.
So you guys have had a pretty uneventful trip. You've been doing a lot of research. Is there anything you'd like to know before you end up making it to planet side?
I can't remember, but I've been actually trying to keep track of time.
I feel like we don't really have a plan at all.
No, we haven't
need to
discussed
find
that.
out what quadrant this guy's in.
Yeah, I mean, how do we Right. That's
Locke, you did ask the question: were there people inside who could help?
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever answered that question. If I remember.
I assume there was none. But there are.
You would be wrong because, as we said, corruption runs deep. Some people have
yeah.
sold their professional careerism for extended wealth, because no one really likes to be a planetary prison guard. Right. So there is people who are in there who probably have some allegiances. If there's probably a few that belong to the Black Sun. There's probably some that belong to each little individual syndicate. Or there's just a few people who are like, hey man, I know a guard who knows somebody, and if you're looking for something, we can probably connect to this network, getting you in there. You just kind of have to explain what your thought about is, and they can come up with a better answer. You do have a support system.
Okay, so knowing that, Locke, on the way would call sort of a general meeting. We'll sit around the table and we'll sort of all right, here's what we know, and lay it all out to make sure everybody has all of the information. Does anybody have any ideas? We can get in here. We can even get to this guy. How do we get him out? Any ideas?
I'm looking at Victus, because Victus has been quiet the entire time.
As far as getting out or getting in?
I don't tell you that. I'm just saying I'm looking at you.
Let's assume we can bribe our way in. That part is it is a challenge, but it's not the worst of the challenges.
Can I bring up the point of bribing our way in? Remember that part where you said we're not getting paid?
Chris, please, let's just not get into this right now and focus on this objective.
How are we going to pay for it? For the bribes. Hang on a sec. I'll be right back. So I run up to the front, run back. Currently, we have a little more than I thought we did. We have about 50,000 creds on board.
Okay. Well,
Drugs.
I guess we're not going to end up
Guards
in jail.
board.
Timothy. We want to leave the jail when we're done. We don't want to be incarcerated.
Board guards want drugs. We have galactic blue.
Just
How much galactic blue do we have? I thought we got rid of all that.
Did we?
I thought we did.
I
No.
don't think so.
What do we do with it?
Okay.
Oh.
There is no
It's in
idea
the
is a
hole.
bad idea. Okay, maybe you're onto something. Let's kick this around a little bit. Okay.
Now, is the blue to get us in or get us out?
Yes.
I don't think they're as worried about us getting in as they are worried about us escaping with a potentially galactic level criminal.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think
Victus,
the
what are
getting
your
in
thoughts?
is going to be the easy part.
Well, we need him alive. We cannot take on a facility full of guards, even on our best day. So that leaves us with one option, which is subterfuge. Now, as far as getting in, I'm fairly certain that you're pretty stealthy, Grist.
Yeah. Yep.
Are there ever any prisoner transfers?
Wait, was it? It's just Grist is going to get us in?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I was just taking time to actually think before speaking. No.
You've had a couple of days.
Well,
Grist. Let the man speak.
The Squib's mind runs at a slightly higher frequency than most others. Let's just put it that way. Like static.
Okay,
Anyway.
sure. Yeah, that's fair.
If you manage to sneak yourself in there and potentially get your way to command center, you might be able to allow us access through the facility by unlocking key doors at certain locations and extract us without setting off an alarm, because you'll be in control, and thus anything we trigger you'll be able to disarm.
That's a good idea.
And the three of us, well, I don't know how conspicuous a Jawa would be, but perhaps the two of us disguised as guards can escort him to the landing pad.
I could probably get Jimothy through the same places I go to get into there.
That's true. You're good at sneaking, but Jimothy is good with computers, so perhaps you both go to the
With
command center.
computers.
What are you not good with, Grist?
Exactly.
How diverse is the Galactic Union as far as guards go?
Pretty diverse. They are very much like the Republic. They are all about, as much diverse as they can. However, the thing to do, remember, the Galactic Union did come around from, hey, we've had so much economic problems because of consistent war, we've gone to quadrants.
We've cut back on diversity hires. We're just doing clones.
Yeah. Well, essentially, they were like, hey, man, if this planet had a lot of, Twi'leks and Zabraks, that's who's here, because we tend to look after ourselves. We don't have as much, open hyperspace lanes as we used to. Essentially, the major infrastructure governments are gone. They're collapsing, and essentially people are it'd be the equivalent of IT's I'm tired of all of you, county. We're taking care of. We're going our own way. We're taking all the Wi-Fi and all the megabytes, and we're heading out.
And we're in the Outer Rim.
And you're in the Outer Rim. So essentially, are there people of different things? Yeah, there probably is quite a few. You plan to see, quite a few individuals. I don't think that's going to be everywhere. You're probably going to find very big planets that are just, hey, it's majority human Twi'leks. This is majority Rhodian Deverum.
So my other question was, during our investigation, did we come across mention of prisoner transfers for any reason?
Yeah.
Will they generally ship a high security prisoner to another prison for some? purpose.
You know that, again, from the knowledge shared amongst all of you, this is kind of a one-way ticket. Your friend did mention that high priority targets go here. Victus is on to a really cool idea. You could forge documents for a prisoner.
What about
you
in
told me
the
there was 4
event
quadrants.
of their death?
Sorry,
What
Jimothy.
happens?
What was that?
What about in the event of the prisoner's death? If the prisoners don't get transferred off of here, but we can fake that he's dead, then they'll never know he's missing.
You could also apply to be Galactic Union guards. You know, there's options.
We have standards.
Well, there's a time limit here, right?
Look it, man. No, we're going to do it long run. 30 years. This is how long it's going to take. Apply for a job.
I'm like an old man Zabrak, and I finally get access to like the maximum security wing.
We did it 30 years. I finally promoted up.
So, what about the quadrants, though? Are there different things going on in different quadrants? I mean, is it possible that maybe we could catch him and transport from being moved from one quadrant to another?
I don't see why they'd move him around very much once he's settled in, but we should definitely figure out exactly where he's at before we're trying to mislead anyone.
So, once Jimothy and I are in the command center, no, I think I answered my own question. I was concerned about the fact that we wouldn't be able to communicate because people would overhear us, but we'd be there, so we'd overhear ourselves, so we just ignore it.
Well, there could be more than one command center. It's a large facility.
I wonder if there's one in each of the quadrants.
You know,
We'll have to find that out.
That's something we have to account for.
A whole lot of question marks. And how are we going to land?
I'm sure they have a landing pad.
But I mean, how? All right.
Are we? The question is, are we going in overtly or covertly? If we're going in overtly, we're just going to land on the landing pad, as a prisoner transport ship would do. What?
No,
I mean,
please. No, we just mask our code. We go to the mountain range. We hike our way in. We don't want them to know we're coming in, right? Until Grist, of course, gets into the command room. He clears in through the command center, the ship. We have the other Twi'lek fly the ship in, land it.
You know, I
walk
can do
out
that.
into the pad.
I've trained it pretty well.
I'm going to flip a black token.
Oh, no.
Give you that white back. And your guys' is, because I'm assuming you're in like the canteen area, the municipal area. Essentially, you hear Yunari. Guys, there's a message from home base. I think you're going to want me to patch it down to you?
relay it over the comms.
Over the comms, you hear a familiar voice that you can identify as Commander Talon.
All right.
Oh, what does she want?
As you guys have been, remember, you have been traveling through space.
Mm-hmm.
Your little drone has been recording. One of your recordings has been this conversation. And Commander Talon's, you're showing for in-depth plan, does the Black Sun's proud. Locke, the Black Sun is willing to offer a bounty with with the association of you need a way to get in.
Right.
We would like some targets taken care of while inside the prison.
Damn it, I knew that.
Grist?
I knew this was going to happen.
Keep your mouth shut next time.
You would be properly rewarded, one, for getting in access, but two, you would be rewarded for the bounty collection of these individuals. Does this sound appealing?
With all due respect, Commander Talon, we're not even sure how to get this one guy out, and you expect us to go on a murderous rampage while we're in there?
I'm going to mimic to Locke with the gun to the head or gun in my hand, like alive or dead.
Are you offering any assistance with this endeavor, or are you simply tacking on to what is already a very complex mission?
Both.
Well, then do go on.
You need a way in.
We do.
We have some individuals who work there who can get you access, as some of you have been discussing, and could help clear and make sure that
I'm pointing at the droid, making sure everyone sees me pointing at the camera droid.
To make sure the anti-starship cannons are deactivated in a certain quadrant. We could also get one of you to have some guards turned to be able to gain access to that command center, as you've discussed. Like I said, the individual reward, though, would be for us. Maybe along the way, some other individuals finish their life sentences early.
You're talking my language now.
Oh, God, my ears are flat.
So
Grist.
the ability to get in and out, with a little bit of course, skill and ingenuity, for the low, low cost of 3 lives.
And I'm holding my 3 fingers up towards Locke and shaking my head.
That means nothing. Send us the files on these 3.
All right.
Do we have locations for them as well as the primary?
Tell me the 3 files don't come out of the camera droid.
No, we're not going to open them in front of the camera droid.
No, they don't come out of the camera droid. That's what I'm asking.
They do. As guess what? As a
told you to keep
small,
your mouth shut,
as a
Chris.
small little like hologram appears. Congratulations!
I'm standing up on the seat and I'm pointing at the camera droid.
Remember,
You were so oblivious when we were on your home planet.
as this
There wasn't a
pops up,
camera droid with us.
You see 3 individuals: Rhodian, a Deveronian, and an Athorian. Sorry, I just love it. Love it.
What was the third one?
And an Athorian.
Ithori.
These 3 are identified no longer by name, but by their cell numbers. They're, their prison numbers.
That's what we need.
They are in the North Quadrant. They are people who, from what you can see easily, is that they were a type of space pirates who seem to have a lot of target problems with the Black Sun. So they were targeting a lot of your guys' supply lines. They're just asking that these people, finish their life sentences a little earlier. Your information you can see as this bounty came up, each one, for the cost of the life of these individuals, each one is going to earn you, because remember, the faction you work for is going to receive the bonus. You're going to be making 5,000 credits for each kill.
Each kill, or just 5,000?
5,000, so 15,000 total.
And what are the cell numbers like? Are they anywhere near one another? Are they seemingly like on different floors and different areas?
These ones are together. You can tell easily from their numbers. It's like X100, like 1A, B, C. These seem to be housed together. So this gives you a little bit of an idea that essentially certain criminals are housed with other familiar criminals. You're not going to put,
Right.
your galactic gene, doctor with, piracy and terrorists. So that gives you at least a little bit of that. The other information, so that is the bounty hunters, droid giving you this information. This is a secondary bounty you've earned.
The droid says that?
It's fun, like when the pictures come out.
Mission.
You've unlocked a
Again.
bonus bounty. Congratulations. The other information,
Good
which
job, Grist.
this is coming in through your, computer, like one of your computers, like little computer screen. You can see your person you're looking forward into is in the Northern Quadrant as well, but his number indicates that he is quite a different area line than
His
they
own
are.
white collar crime.
Yeah.
All right.
So you've been given a landing coordinate and a contact, so that way you guys can land in the Northern Quadrant.
Take us on a safari tour.
And you're going to essentially, the story you're going to be given is you guys are going on a safari to go see what the life of a Belsavis inmate is like. What is some of the world's wildest, most indigenous individuals do? You get to go see the great frontier.
Grist, get your best clothes out of the locker. You're going to need them for this. What happened to that suit we bought you?
I knew you were going to say it. Nope, not wearing it. Not going to wear that suit. I have
full of
something.
holes
It'll
now
be
anyway.
fine.
Let's try to chew it up.
All right. So, team, was that the plan? Are we going to head in? Are we good?
I do want to make sure that everybody, do we have any sort of like schematics of the sector, of the northern sector, to just see like where the cells are at or anything? Or are we just going off of like street signs once we get in there?
Your guess is that whoever this contact is that's going to take you on the safari might have more information.
Right, but yeah. Okay.
I hate guessing. Of course, when I'm in the command center, I should be able to pull up the schematics pretty quick. Jimothy and I, excuse me.
Does the safari tour take us past the command center? How are we going to get to the command center?
Wait a minute.
I mean,
were they serious? Like, we're going to go on a...
They're taking us right to them.
There's a tour of the prison for people to go watch the prisoners?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Empire.
So right, we don't have any idea of where like the command center might be in relation to the
Nothing
northern
that you
sector.
could find. Not from the level of success you guys had.
Normally not a job I would prefer to go on, Grist, but the stakes are just too high. We can't pass up this opportunity.
Okay, I want to... And I push my button, but I don't make it obvious to anyone else.
Yeah.
I just want to put out there again that if the camera droid, if they're watching us, then everybody could be watching us. Anyone that could tap into it, which is what I had suggested that Jimothy and I do. Anyone could tap into it. Now everyone knows where we're at. No. If somebody else has this bounty...
I admit, it makes me uneasy as well. If you can, why don't you tap into the feed for the other camera droids? Why can't we see whatever broadcast they're putting out to their fans? I mean, if...
Are you saying I should look?
If anybody else is able to pick up the signals, I would want to have the same advantage as they do.
I agree. And my ears puck up again.
So next time you find another person's camera, you're going to hack it?
Oh, no. But I'm not going to do anything until we're done here. And I'm not going to rush this.
Understood.
All right, so the plan is to go in on this tour. And then Jimothy and I peel off. We get into the command center. We get the schematics. We lay it out. We figure out where everyone is. And then... send you guys in commando style. I don't like being away from my crew.
Did they provide us the cell of the primary objective?
Yes,
in
yes.
addition
It's just
to.
not in.
So
he's in the same quadrant.
We know where
he's
they
on the
are,
same
but
area.
we do need a "you are here" map.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Essentially, what you were given from Commander Talon is essentially she's saying, "Hey, we want to win this competition, and we need to make this look business professional." As you're kind of getting to get the feel for this, how the bounty hunting works.
Yeah, no, I mean, if we can do the bonus objective in addition to the main objective, then we look even better, and we need the camera droid active to transmit that footage.
The important thing is that syndicates can offer new objectives to earn bonus points and finances.
I'm going to switch the camera back on.
So, what
I'm doing, I'm not on and off. It's shunting.
Yeah, it's essentially pausing. What you were provided, and that essentially you were understood, is, hey, go to this quadrant. You're going to meet somebody. You're going to be able to land safely. They're going to tell you the next part.
Yeah, right.
We can't show you too much favoritism, but we've offered you, hey, are you willing to accept another bounty? Here's what we're paying you for it. And your thing was, yeah, I'll take a bounty because I want information.
I mean, so we're going into a prison, so we can't just bring our guns in there. I mean, can we?
Yeah, of course you can.
Do these tours allow...
Well, I would think it would be hidden there, but once you're inside
Jimothy,
it...
you did succeed on finding out.
I did? Okay.
Well, you remember that you were listening to some dark stuff. One of those things that you did find out is these safaris, besides just live tours, is if you're willing to pay a little extra, just like real life safari hunters, you can catch the horns of like a quote-unquote Zabrak. So if you want to go shoot inmates or wrangle up some prisoners, man, that's just the experience.
Son of a motherless Ewok. This is just... Holy shit. Okay, weapons, okay.
Shunt. So are we the bad guys?
Have we been
Ibana.
the guys?
Is this really about good or evil? I mean, these people are like, we profit off literal, like, species trafficking.
I want to bring
They're
up,
bad people.
I want to bring up to the two of you, and Jimothy, this is nothing against you, but you weren't here when we began. But if you remember, we didn't originally plan to work for the Black Sun Syndicate. It just kind of happened, and I thought we were discussing the possibility of potentially doing it for a little while and then getting out of there with the intention of trying to find Six's information and escaping. And now I feel like we're maybe going down a really dark tunnel.
You have a valid concern, Grist.
Uh-huh.
And that was before the Great Hunt was called. Now your concerns are no longer relevant. We have bigger fish to fry.
We
have
why?
bigger rancors to fry.
But why? Why? What's bigger than our morality?
Grist, where has morality gotten you? Where did morality get 6? Survival is morality. Success and thriving is morality. Don't hold yourself back over such archaic notions.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are we done?
Sounds like you guys have a plan. Anything
Not
else?
exactly, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And I take my shirt off and grab the camera droid. Jimothy, would you like to come with me for a moment?
Ibana.
So I never turned the shunt back on, so presently it's not recording. So we're going to go into my room. Okay, Jimothy, here's the thing. I've been able to find some information in this thing, but if they're able to feed off it, we should be able to back feed off it, at least I think we should, to be able to figure out where it's transmitting from, which means that we might be able to get in there and figure out where other stuff is transmitting and be able to go the other way. You got?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm almost sure I figured out what I was doing.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Computer skill check. Your goal, to make sure I understand and the viewers understand, is you are trying to see where it's primarily sending this information, so you can see if you can follow that data stream, counter hack, and then go bounce back.
I would like to figure out where it's going, because if I can somehow figure out how to get a secondary feed, and I don't even know if in Star Wars this is possible, but if we can get a secondary feed that's feeding back to us, maybe from the other 31 camera droids, that's what I'm working on.
All right, so first one, computer check.
Okay.
You're trying to see where this thing feeds. This is a 3-level difficulty. Do you have any tools, knowledge, or anything that you think you could use that would help you?
I don't know if my helping.
I do have a
Black.
Black Ops data breaker.
You do have a Black Ops data breaker. That totally helps. Yeah. Give yourself a blue, and I believe the Black Ops data breaker reduces the difficulty by 1, so it's a 2 difficulty.
Aha.
So her Jimothy's skills, etc., are 2 yellow, 1 green.
Yes.
Mine is 1 yellow, 1 green. Do I actually add anything helping, or am I just quote helping?
Yeah, you were quote. I would say you can provide a blue.
Okay.
Because you do know the mechanical part, and essentially you're not just a kid holding the flashlight.
Right.
You do actually know, like, hey, if you're while you're
already
entering this
took it
code,
apart.
it's overheating this. Like, you're going to overload its system. Yeah, I could say you could provide. That makes total sense to
Okay.
me.
Let's do this.
Broke the warranty seal.
Go, Ratty Grist.
Oh, this thing's warranty's long gone.
Are you kidding me? I swear. 2 successes, no advantage.
Okay.
Or no, 1 advantage. Yeah.
All right. So out of that success, you are at the first phase trying to see where this leads back to. Basically, as you're running through like the software program, you see your little data pad kicking up, like like telling you this is coming back to Planet Luxroll. It seems to be somewhere in the bounty hunter's primary planet,
Which is what Grist would have thought.
So now the question is, you can access that computer. As you know, there is a major bounty hunter network server. Of course, you got to keep track of all these bounties somehow. So they probably have this PR team who's putting together this cool, great hunt video for the sake of their, patrons. So is your plan to want to try to counter hack this and see what you can learn?
I think what we would be doing, I think what we should do is we should try and open up all 32 channels and get a feed back to us, maybe even through this droid.
Should we flip a token?
I think we should.
So what
In
are
fact,
you trying to do?
what we're going to look at doing is the computer droid, the camera droid is going to have a 2-way system. Not only that it can feed out, but that it can also draw in.
I would allow, because essentially the camera droid doesn't have that much data power
Okay, that's
to
fair.
process it, but I like the idea. What I would say is you will make a check. I'm willing to flip one over here on myself as well. Not me, I'm just, because I have my own little tracker to make sure. I think that can reduce the difficulty and add some blues, as essentially you are going to jury rig an extra little power cell to it, maybe, come up together, because you guys are spending quite a bit of time traveling. It's gonna look like it has a tumor, but it's gonna
Well, here's the thing. We know, and this is why I ask, we know that it feeds our way because we just got shit out of it, the camera droid. So we know that stuff comes this way. All we have to do is turn it from being a passive, right? Well, to take it from being a passive or a slave unit to actually doing it on its own.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Because essentially what you're doing is you're having it not just send like a security camera, you're having that system send everything back to it. And that's where I think the difficulty went. I don't think it's impossible. That's why
It doesn't have the bandwidth for that.
Yeah. So what I would say is it's going to be a computer check.
Okay.
You're going to add your data decryptor. So blue and 1 difficulty reduced, plus the white, which is another difficulty reduced, plus another blue. So what was supposed to be a 4 purple has now been reduced to a 2 purple. However, this system was set up by a person that has some knowledge in being a data slicer themselves.
They're probably
So
counter.
What you have is not 2 purples, 2 reds.
Oh.
No.
But 3
If we
blues.
could somehow feed it to the memory banks on the ship,
Uh-huh.
we could increase its bandwidth, although we'd have
so-
to make sure that it didn't...
Right,
Should
so
be
that's the
2
secondary
blues?
side of this.
You have 2 blues, 2 reds, and sorry, do add 1 black as someone is currently monitoring the system.
Counter hacking.
So what I would be looking at is the other side of it is where I have built in the shunt. I'm going to let Jimothy know that I've built in the shunt with the idea of making that now being a side passage for this to go directly to the ship. So I won't have the ability to turn it off on and off anymore, but that slave section of the memory will allow it potentially to go to the computer.
You're essentially giving it 2 memory cores for it to be like, hey, you do what you do, but we're also counter doing this.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I love that a lot. All right, you got those
All
dice.
right,
Let's
got
roll
the
it.
pool.
Is there anything that we think we can change? Anything that thinks someone else should do?
No,
We're good
I'm
to go.
helping. I don't know if that matters. I don't know if we've got it in there already.
All right, this won't Utini itself.
Is that what I think it is?
Triumph.
And no despair?
Hey.
no despair.
Ooh. All right.
Nice.
And what's
So-
the other stuff?
So it's net 1 success, a triumph, and a threat.
Okay. So what, this success, so I'm imagining, tell me what you guys think. You're kind of writing a code. The droid's open, exposed chassis there. The little cameras just recording. You're watching your little computer screen as you're monitoring what it's doing and doing this feed. All the while you're describing the kind of parameters you need for Grist to build together as he's gathering empty grenade chassis and stuff to pretty much you're building another memory core for it, right? And so you're gonna find a way to give it the second kidney essentially. They're go in here, do this. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah,
program
that
it to
sounds
follow
good
it
to me.
around, always behind it, so that it never can film its
Yeah.
extra memory bank
He's-
following it.
Well, yeah, the
Good
tumor's
idea.
on the back
Yeah.
of it.
He's
Yeah.
making the physical, you're making the software
Yeah.
update.
And then I want that to be feeding to the ship computer. Now,
Yep.
realistically, without 32 of us looking at it, we're not going to be able to see everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would also like to put in maybe not a dead man switch, but something that if anybody tries to tamper with it, it's gonna blast Jawa opera.
I mean, you're trying to...
Jopra. Yeah.
If you look here, you see the shunt that I made, you can just put it in there.
Okay.
That's all we got to do.
I'll
and then
do
we
that.
can,
That's
we can
what I
actually
wanna use
remotely
my
see.
Essentially,
Triumph for.
you're as you're downloading, waiting, I'm sure there's its own, sound wave and all that. You're I'm just going to download this classic right here, put it in, you're trust me. And it's just, I imagine, the program file is just, the Jawa, hood with black and, the red eyes and then, 2 thumbs of, Untini! Yeah, and it's just as you're kind of uploading that last little bit, all of a sudden your warning system kicks off, click, because you did get that disadvantage. You're oh crap, someone was essentially coming down the proverbial netway room.
Yep.
Everyone be quiet. Okay, we got out.
Cool.
Don't think we were caught. So
Awesome.
that's how I imagine how we all feeling.
I
Yep,
like it.
I'm
I
good
like
with
it.
that.
And this was private.
This was what.
Yeah, you two
essentially,
don't know about
you guys
this.
are getting prepped, doing whatever you do. You just know Jimothy and
Oh, you saw me. You saw me openly put my shirt around and grab the camera droid and leave.
yeah,
With
they're
Jim.
doing something. They're doing something. All right. Unless there's anything else, you
It's
guys.
going to be pretty obvious with the tumor on the back of the camera that we did something to it.
Are you guys gonna try to make it look like a secondary camera? We gave it a butt camera.
What I'm saying is these two are not in any way stupid or unobservant.
No,
it's
right,
going to
no.
be
Well,
really obvious that
Locke
we
is-
did something to the
Locke is
camera.
telling Grist to do something
Right.
without directly telling him to do something.
I get that.
So
Subtlety. I'm learning.
we're being filmed. I can't just say, yeah, go hack the film.
As that is, you guys kind of see this drone just it kind of flies a little sideways. I imagine it's
It's a little cattywampus.
yeah. They're yeah, well, next time we
Got a little
kidnap it,
implant
we'll
there.
fix that. We'll fix that lean. It was upside down and off. Come on, man. It's hard to tell how that engine was supposed to work. That anti-grav, lifter. Yeah, if there's nothing else, you guys, your planet, ship comes out of hyperspace. You see, as you kind of all peer up at, through the glass of your starship, you see a large planet, this nice white and kind of green. Think of like a, like how they have the frosting on like a Christmas tree, the fake snow. Think of that, and then just cut around it, almost like indentations pushed out, are these large steel X across the planet. As you can see that the Great Wall has truly been built around it. Your, navigator says, hey, these are the coordinates, and you guys begin to descend as the windows begin to frost up and flame begins to heat due to the extreme cold of this ice planet. Your ship's like rattling as it comes in, and that's what we're going to call for today.
All right.
Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, our Seegson Employees of the Month, Michael H., Greg K., F.S., and our Breaker of Seals, Frank H., Christopher C., Matthew K. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it. And a very special thanks to our fantastic artist, Jacob Blackmon, who you can reach on his Patreon under his name, or Deviant Art under the name Prodigy Duck.